Hey, I'm Lou Brutus. We go now to Finland to speak to our old friend Kiko Loureiro from Megadeth. Kiko, great to see you. How are you?
Great to see you too, man. Doing great here. Yeah, I'm in Europe here right now. I know it's morning for you, afternoon for me. So how are things going?
Pretty good on my end. How did you end up there in Finland? Because you're Brazilian, I believe, originally, right?
Yes, and I was in LA for I don't know, like almost 10 years. And during the pandemic, my wife is from Finland, so we were here. I mean, I was touring in Europe with Megadeth, and then we kind of decided to spend some time in Finland because there was a lot of touring and album recording, 2020. And then the pandemic came, and then I was kind of stuck here, so we kind of rearranged life to be here. I don't know. That's basically that's a short version story.
I don't know how much histrionics you and I have done before, but your professional music career started super, super early. And I would be curious to know, at what age did you seriously start to pick up a guitar? And how did you transition into being a pro musician when you were still like in your young teens?
I mean, I started playing a nylon classical guitar at the age of 11, electric, like 14 years old. Then I was like really into it, like practicing and like obsessed, during my teens, and that in Brazil. And I started, play some small bands and friends and stuff like that. But in 91, we started a band called Angra. So we recorded our first album in 93. We never tried, not even tried the US market. So it was like we had a connection in Germany, and then we had a label in Japan, and then we were a gold disc in Japan for this first album, 93. So then I could say my career started right there, 92, 93, with this band Angra, first album called Angels Cry, some metal band, and then it was released in Japan, and everything started from there. Then did several albums throughout the 90s and 2000s. And then I moved to LA early 2011, around there. And then in 2015, I got a call from Dave Mustaine.
Tell me about that phone call. Did you expect it, or did it come out of the blue?
No, of course I was not expecting. I was in LA. I was doing stuff. I had Angra. I was like, actually, I did a front cover, a magazine cover in Japan, because the band and my name in Japan was, pretty solid. And then I did a cover with Dave Mustaine in 2008. He didn't remember. He didn't remember about this magazine cover when he called me, and I think he heard about my name. And then Allison had my number, my email, I think, yeah, only my email. So we connected, and then Dave asked me to go there to his house in Nashville. And then I went there like a few days after the call, and in between those dates, I recorded 4 videos. Actually, in my YouTube channel, I posted those like audition videos. And yeah, so then I went to Dave's house, spent a day there with him, talking about everything, basically, because like I sent the videos, and you could hear my work online, the Angra stuff or YouTube videos, whatever. So it was not about the skills. I think it was more about the personality, getting to know each other kind of thing. And yeah, so spent a day, then I came back home, and then I got then he asked me to go back again to the studio. And then they were already working on the pre-production for Dystopia. Then when I joined the guys, and then when they announced, it was like May 2015.
Joining a group like Megadeth, is that a life-changing thing overnight when it first happened?
It is. It is yeah, I would say so. Although like when you join, you don't know what to expect, right? It's just like this legendary band. And then like I was already in the studio. So I was like already, man, I need to know those ideas. I need to learn those parts. I need to understand better the who is who here, you know, the producer, the owner of the studio, you know, and I was having a lot of talks with Dave, you know, Chris Adler was there already kind of rehearsing the drum parts. So there's a lot of stuff going on already. So it couldn't really like think, you know, oh, my life's gonna change or something like that. It was already like, okay, let's go, you know, let's start working. Yeah. And I tried to understand the whole dynamic so I could bring my musicality, my ideas as well, you know, as soon as possible without interfering, understanding the concept of the band, because I knew Megadeth as a fan, right? As you know, as you know, and from the outside, you know. And I remember like first thing I bought was the Dave Mustaine biography, you know, like to get to know everything, the personal level as well, because making music is like it's intimate in a way, you know, sharing your ideas. You have to feel like you are free to share your ideas, you know. You cannot feel like an imposter, like you cannot feel like you don't belong to that place, you know. You feel that you deserve to be there. You own, you know, you have your place now. So, and you have to feel free to give your ideas even if they suck. So it's very hard to have this to feel confident, you know, with strangers, you know what I mean? Like strangers in this sense, you know. So I was like thinking a lot about those kind of things when I was there, because it was pretty challenging, you know. It's a great thing, but also if I suck, right? If I recording this dystopia, and if I suck or if I don't give my best, you know, this is not going to last, you know. We know that.
So let's talk about creating the recent music. And if you could first give me sort of a timeline, because for everybody, the last few years, it's been super weird. I would love to hear how you guys did this all sort of spread out or together or however.
Timeline. Okay. So around 2018, we started, no, 19, sorry. 18, end of 18, 19, it's like, okay, let's get together and collect our ideas and things like that. You know, let's start talking about the new album. But there's a tour with Ozzy coming up, summer 19. So this was canceled. You know, Ozzy postponed the tour. And so, all right. So Dave came like, okay, let's start the pre-production of the album. Let's start getting together to create the album. That was like summertime, you know, like May 2019. And then right after that, after we booked all the flights to go to Nashville to stay there for a while, he called us and said, told us about the cancer, right? His throat cancer. And then we were like, everybody was like, wow. And, you know, but he said, no, we're going to work same way. Keep the schedule. You guys come. Let's see what's going to happen. He was not afraid at all. It was like pretty impressive. And everybody, of course, was concerned about him, but he said, no, just come. And then we went there and then start, you know, getting the riffs, the ideas, melodies, whatever, you know. It's like very early process. And Dave was working almost every day there, right? Although he was doing the cancer treatment, some days he was like very tired and stuff like that, you know. But we stayed there for like 2 months and a half, and we kind of created the most everything, you know, most of the songs, almost everything. So then he went to like a you know, more hardcore treatment. You know, I think there was the radiation part of the treatment, so that was not possible to be there. Then like 6 months goes by, you know, waiting for the treatment. And then we came back to the European tour. So right after the treatment, we did like a short European tour. And then the pandemic came, because the idea would be, short European tour, and everybody goes to the studio. And now we start tracking the ideas that we did during summer 19, right? But then the pandemic came, and then we, as everybody in the world, we didn't know what to do. I was stuck here. Everybody was stuck in their homes. We live in, the other guys live in different states and stuff like that. So we're just waiting to see what would happen. And at some point, Dirk went by car to Nashville from LA. And then, just to expedite things, because we didn't know about the flying situation and all that. And then he recorded the drums. And then I started like going through the guitar parts remotely, like refreshing my memories about that, because it was almost 1 year, hiatus, right? From the creation process to the recording process. And then like September 2020, I went to Nashville. It was kind of risky in a way to fly still, but I went there. And then I recorded all the guitars, and Dave started doing after I left, he started doing his guitars and vocals. And then I sent like a few solos, missing solos remotely. And then that was it. And then artwork and all the, Ice-T as a guest, and other, ear candies, as we say, some extra guitars or some extra sound effects and things like that. Megadeth has a lot of sound effects and extra stuff to create the whole environment, to create the whole atmosphere of the album.
Yeah, there's a great continuity to the sound of everything I've heard, which belies the fact that it was recorded in so many different spots at so many different times. What are your thoughts on some of the lyrical concepts in there? For example, Soldier On. Now, there's a song that works as a Megadeth song. It works as a song for our current times. It works as a great song for Dave's personal struggles. Like that tune is happening on a whole lot of different levels. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think in general, the lyrics kind of describe what we lead. All lyrics by Dave, right? The music, I did collaborate in, I think like 7 or 8 songs, but the lyrics all by Dave. So he's the best guy to explain everything. Yeah. But in general, he was clever enough to touch those subjects, what we live nowadays, or even the pandemic, in a way that the feeling, but without like going to the commonplace of calling the album pandemic times or whatever, and also like his personal struggle. I thought it would be I kind of knew in a way he would put his personal struggles into the lyrics, but not directly. So I think he did like such a clever way, such a Dave way, yeah, to send a message that kind of reflects what he was living and suffering, but also that anyone can listen and take lessons and empathize somehow with the lyrics. And also, as you said, Soldier On, with the current times. We do have, like there's Dogs of Chernobyl as well. If you think about somehow like Dave predicts some stuff. In his lyrics, and I think it was always like this. He just predicts stuff, or he touches this like the core problems of our societies as well. So those problems, they keep repeating somehow. So it's like all the lyrics are very, they're timeless, right? His lyrics, if you think about Holy Wars and Symphony of Destruction, and so yeah, so Soldier On is like one of them.
Do you ever stop him and ask, what are you saying here? Because it affects how you're going to play, or do you just let it go and do your part?
The lyrics?
Yeah.
So the songs are, they're kind of really based on the riffs and the music, right? And I like now having 2 albums with Dave and writing more with him, we focus a lot on the music, right? Riffs sound powerful, and having the transitions, the whole thing. Not the vocal melodies, not the solos, not the extra stuff, like the foundation of the riffs, which is a guitar-driven band, you know, of course. And I think from there, it doesn't need to be final, the guitars, but it's like when you have a solid foundation of the riffs and the construction of the songs, I think Dave gets very inspired by the song, you know, and then start to because he's writing those ideas like aside, or like he's like thinking about concepts and ideas. But then when you have the music, you start, you know, building the blocks and putting those lyrics to fit the riffs, right? So that's the way it works. So the riffs comes first, basically. The foundation of the music comes before the lyrics. But for the solos and the whole attitude, for the extra guitars, extra layers and sound effects and stuff like that, then yes, the lyrics are very important, because you kind of have to understand what the song's going to be about to add those extra stuff. And then, yeah, then even the solos, but the foundation, the riffs are before the lyrics.
You mentioned sound effects and things that are added later. Tell me about the very end of the song, the sort of marching cadence, which at first sounded like, oh, this might be from Full Metal Jacket. And then I start to listen closely and I'm like, no, that sounds original for this. Tell me about putting that part together.
Yeah. I was not there. I was not there when they did that. But yeah, that's Dave's there. And then he has some friends, actually, sometimes we were at the studio, because you said about recording in a different, it sounded very, you don't feel that we record in different times, but actually a lot of albums are like that, right? But the thing was that we had a house with all the equipment through all this time, so the drums were recorded in a studio in Nashville, but then all the guitars, singing, everything was recorded in a house that was built as studio. So basically we're going to that house, and so the equipment was always the same, everything was always the same people. So yeah, so I was not there, because as when I was there, I was like we were like focused on the guitars. And then when I left, then Dave started recording the vocals, and then those extra stuff, those extra ideas, because sometimes you don't have this idea like the Soldier On at the end. I think when you have the entire song, everything is done, it's like, why not adding that, the marching, and then I think it was probably was like some friends from Dave, from Nashville, we have some friends there. Yeah,
it's the perfect end to the song. So tell me about touring with Five Finger Death Punch this summer, because it seems like and the rest of the lineup top to bottom is as solid as I think it could be. It's pretty great.
Yeah, we toured with them. So that tour that we did in 2020, just before the pandemic, we did a few shows with them in Europe, and it was great. It's like, it's about, it's a different audience, I would say, at least in Europe. Let's see, in the US, I don't know, but probably it's a bit younger audience in a way. And so I think it fits. And great crew, great guys, the band, everything's like, it was really smooth, the whole dynamics for the concert. So this is really important when you do a long tour as well. So I think it fits really well, both bands, and I'm looking forward for the shows and to tour again in the US with them.
Well, I can't wait to see you in the flesh again, because this Zoom stuff is getting tired, dude. But I'm glad to see you looking and sounding so well. And congratulations on the record. It's another great Megadeth record. I don't know how you and Dave and everybody does it all these years, but I'm glad that you all do.
We do love playing guitar and creating music, so we still have this energy to put new stuff up constantly. Yeah, well, we're really happy with the results and with the response of everybody so far. So great.
Kiko Loureiro from Megadeth. Always good to speak to you.
Always a pleasure, man.